Okay, I was debating adding the introduction to the first chapter because the introduction is only 3 pages long. But this is Zodiac, by the way. But it is a real story, and I wanted everybody to get the introduction first without the first chapter, because I think it goes more into like the details of what the book's going to be about. So if you get triggered by this first section, it is real. It is like gross. Maybe this book is not for you. But without further ado, here's the introduction. After Jack the Ripper and before Son of Sam, there is only one name their equal in terror, the deadly, elusive, and mysterious Zodiac. Since 1968, the hooded mass murderer has terrified the city of San Francisco and the Bay Area with a string of brutal killings. Zodiac, in taunting letters sent to the newspapers, has hidden clues to his identity by using cunning ciphers that have defied the greatest code-breaking minds of the CIA, the FBI, and NSA. I was the political cartoonist for the largest paper in Northern California, the San Francisco Chronicle, so I was there from the beginning of as each cryptic letter, each coded message, each swatch of victims' bloody clothing arrived at the editorial desk. At first I was merely fascinated by the purely visual qualities of zodiac symbols. Then gradually a resolve grew within me to unravel the killer's clues, to discover his true identity, and failing that, at least to present every scrap of evidence available so that someday someone might recognize the Zodiac killer. When I started writing this book, I realized that two obstacles lay ahead of me. First, the various suspects and few surviving victims had scattered, and many of the witnesses were in hiding. To discover the missing facts, I had to find the missing witnesses. One had changed her name 6 times. Another, who had escaped Zodiac, had been hiding for a decade using many different names. Eventually, I found her through a postmark on a Christmas card. Second, the murders had taken place in different counties, and due to interdepartmental jealousy, each police agency had vital information the others were unaware of. From each county, from garages where files had been taken as souvenirs, from files saved just moments from destruction, I brought all the elements together for the first time and began to paint a complete picture of Zodiac. In 1975, after several years of interest in the case, I became aware that there were unsuspected Zodiac murders and that one of Zodiac's early victims may have known his true name. This victim, in the act of turning Zodiac into the police, had been murdered. There is no defense against the compulsive random killer. The serial killer is unquenchable in his bloodlust, and California seems to have more than its share of serial murders, just second in the country after New York. Multiple murderers, a recent phenomenon, are now claiming between 500 and 1,500 American lives each year, according to the Justice Department. The Zodiac murders were not simple killings. They were sex crimes in which the killer reduced the victims to objects that existed only to give him sexual pleasure achieved through violent acts. The hunt for the victims was the foreplay, and the attack the substitute for the sex act. Zodiac, a sexual sadist, achieved his sexual pleasure by torturing and killing because violence and love are hopelessly intertwined and confused in his mind. Sexual sadists have a tendency, like most serial murderers, to be quite intelligent and become amazingly proficient at concealing themselves after their first killing. The cat and mouse game they play with the police may become the principal motive for the crimes. Once the killer is captured, his detailed and grisly confession itself is a brutal attack. Though no one knows what creates a sexual sadist, many doctors suspect a damaged sex chromosome or an event early in life. Cruel and rejecting parents and peers may create pressures that are expressed in childhood by bedwetting, shoplifting, and animal mutilation and torture. With the awakening of puberty, the anger manifests itself in ever-increasing, cleverly concealed acts of sadism. If there is one key word for the entire story of the Zodiac mystery, it is, obsession. The lure of the case has destroyed marriages, derailed careers, ruined health, as over 2,500 Zodiac suspects were scanned, and people were swept away by a tide of misery, tragedy, and loss. I wanted this book to accomplish something, to effect a change, to stop the killer. Slowly, each strange symbol and cipher broke away, and I learned how the killer wrote the untraceable Zodiac letters, why he killed when he did, and even the inspiration for his cross-circle symbol and his executioner's costume. This is the true story of a pursuit that spans almost 2 decades and still goes on. I've included hundreds of facts never revealed in print before. It is as accurate an account as 8 years of research can provide. Over the years, only fragments of the Zodiac letters were released by the police or reprinted and reproduced by the newspapers. In this book, for the first time, is every word Zodiac wrote the police. In a very few cases, it was necessary to delete the last names of some witnesses. They are known by the police. The names of several major Zodiac suspects have been changed. Some facets of their past work records, educational degrees, and geographical locations have been altered. In the cases where it was necessary to change a name, this is noted in the text. In the chapter on Andrew Todd Walker, limited portions of dialogue were reconstructed for purposes of narrative flow. Witchcraft, death threats, cryptograms, a hooded killer still sought, dedicated investigators, and a mysterious man in a white Chevy who is seen by all and known by no one, are all parts of the Zodiac mystery, the most frightening story I know. Robert Graysmith, San Francisco, May 1985.